Alright, so I've got another combo that I wanted to show off with Inzektors, and I thought I'd just do it on Dueling Books so that it's a little bit more clear. Um, it shows off kind of an alternative way that you can make use of the Adventure Engine if you have a hand that enables it, because I noticed that you really don't need to go through the entire full combo if you have most of what you need. You're just kind of burning a lot of resources for not a ton more interaction. So I figure there's not much of a reason to do that. So I was just playing through random hands. This is one of the hands I got, so I'm just going to show you uh, how I played through it. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to activate Rite of Aramasir. This is going to get us a token and is going to activate the Faithful Avenger from deck. This is pretty straightforward. We're then going to activate the Faithful Avenger. We are going to search the Wandering Griffin Rider, and then for the resolution, we're going to discard the Fly and Sting. Now that is because during the end phase, if you control an insect with 3,000 or more attack, Fly and Sting can reset itself from the graveyard. Now that does telegraph where it's going to be set, but at the end of the day, you're probably only going to be setting one card, so it's not really that big of a deal. It's something that they already know where it's going to be, so it's not that bad. Discarding it it's just a really good discard target in a lot of situations. So now we're going to summon the Wandering Griffin Rider. This is going to trigger Faithful Adventure. It's going to get us the Draco back. This Draco back is actually going to be very useful for extending our combos, and you're going to see that a little bit later. So next, we need to get our Dragonfly into rotation. So we're going to activate Zektrike Ko. We're going to send our Ladybug as cost. We are going to get Dragonfly from the deck. Now, I put it in this zone for a very specific reason, and that's just so that one card, it's just so that it has no chance of getting in the way. Now, I also want to preface here, if your opponent has some kind of disruption, right, and you need to use the Griffin Rider to negate it, that actually opens up more avenues for you to extend with. Because the biggest limitation about running the Adventure Engine in Inzektors is it clogs up 2 monster zones that you're not going to use anything with. So that vastly limits what kind of plays you can make, and I'll point that out later in the combo. So we've successfully got out our Dragonfly. We're now going to equip it with Infernoble Arms Durandal. This is as good as we can get. So we're going to do that. We're going to activate Durandal. This searches the Oliver, and then the Durandal destroys itself. That triggers Dragonfly. So we're going to get a special summon from the deck. We're going to get Centipede. Before we do anything else, let's get this Dragonfly out of the way. We're going to use it to equip the Ladybug. We're going to activate the Ladybug, send itself. We're just going to increase the tokens level because for this combo, we do not care about level modulation. So that gets us another Dragonfly special summon. We'll grab another Centipede. Now, let's get these centipedes out of the way so that we can use them as material. We'll equip the Ladybug, send the Ladybug, increase the level, we'll get a search. We'll get another Dragonfly. That's going to be more useful for next turn because we can't do the same kind of combo that we always do. Because remember, we can't activate normal summon monster effects. Now we're going to use the second Centipede, same thing, equip the Ladybug, send the Ladybug, get a search. We're going to search Gigamantis. Again, not really useful right now, but will be useful for the combo. So we're going to send these two. We're going to get Armor Horn. Now, we're not actually going to use Armor Horn for anything. This is mostly just putting it in the graveyard for next turn, while also giving us avenues to clear our zones. So now that we have 2 zones clear, we're going to equip our Draco back to our Dragonfly. Why are we doing that? Because now we're going to activate Oliver. We're going to send the Draco back for cost to special summon the Oliver. Guess what? That triggers Dragonfly, and not only that, it also triggers Draco back the Rideable Dragon. So now we can do Chain Link 1 Dragonfly, Chain Link 2 Draco back, and that chain blocks the Dragonfly. Not that they would have had anything, but now it's just a little bit harder for them to respond to this specific summon. So the Draco back is going to equip itself to the token, and we're going to special summon the final Centipede from deck. Now we're gonna use that Centipede, so we're gonna equip the Ladybug, send the Ladybug, increase the level, get a search. Now we're looking for a discard target here. Cricket is probably the best discard target in the deck because we really don't want to draw it, even more so than Hopper. So might as well get it out of here. It might be useful next turn. So now we're going to use that fresh centipede, or the spent centipede and the armor horn for a Picofalina. You've seen this before. Picofalina effect, we're going to discard the cricket and we're going to equip Hornet from deck. Now here's where it diverges a little bit. Well, first off, we're going to use Pico, and we're going to shuffle back these 3 centipedes. Now, what you draw off this does not matter, like legitimately. So we got a Foolish Burial. I don't even use it during this combo, but there's potential for that to be an extender of some sort. So here's where we're going to diverge a little bit. If you remember, by the time we got to this point, most of our zones were free, so we would equip the Gigamantis to our Dragonfly and then use the Hornet to pop the Mantis. That gets us 3 special summons. We do not have the zones for that. So instead, we're just going to quite simply use the Hornet to pop the Draco back, because we don't really care about having that Draco back for next turn. We could use it to pop the Adventure, but then that means that if we spend the Griffin Rider, we have no avenue to search it next turn. This is a really powerful bait. Honestly, it's arguable which one is more important. The Draco back is so good at forcing out negation because it's just a direct impact, but having access to the Griffin Rider next turn is also really good. It's hit or miss. Either one you can pop, and this combo doesn't change. So it's up to your discretion. That gets us 1 special summon from deck, so we're going to grab Centipede again. So now we're going to free up some space. So we're going to use the Oliver, which is a level 1 tuner, with our Dragonfly to get Herald. So now we've got 2 Omni Negates on board, and Herald is also a pseudo Floodgate. That's pretty powerful, but we can go a little bit better. We're going to equip Mantis from hand to our Centipede, and then use Centipede to equip the Hornet. We're going to use the Hornet to pop the Centipede. This gives us 2 searches from Centipede, and then Chainlink 3, the Mantis gives us a revive. So we're going to revive the Dragonfly, and then we're going to search twice. So we're going to grab a Zektrike for next turn, and we're going to grab a Inzektor Sword for this turn. Now, you might be confused why we're not adding Weevil. The real answer is we simply don't have enough zones to keep extending with Weevil and such. In fact, if you notice, there's no real way we can clear this and have Dragonfly actually get a special summon. Now, this is what I was talking about before. If, for example, this Griffin Rider fetched a negate and you were able to shuffle it back into the deck, that's a free zone. So you could use this fresh Dragonfly to get another special summon and go into a significantly different combo line. We are not going to do that because this combo assumes they did not have any interaction. But it's just to show you that the more they try to interrupt you here, it's kind of interesting the farther you can extend because you're going to have more zones free. It's very rare for a deck to have that capacity. So from here, where there's not a whole lot more we can do. So we're just going to get as many resources as we can for next turn while setting up a couple more negates. We're going to equip the Zekcalibur to our Centipede because, like I said, we have no more room for special summons. We're going to use Dragonfly to get the Hornet, and again, we're not going to special summon here, but we're still going to send the Hornet to pop the Zekcalibur. This is because Zekcalibur is mandatory, so it's always Chainlink 1, and Centipede is going to give us another search. So we're going to now search any normal summonable Inzektor that we are okay with banishing. A second copy of Ladybug is perfect for this. It could also be Hornet. It could be, hell, it could even be Hopper if you really wanted it to be. But for this example, I'm just going to go with the Ladybug. Now, the Zekcalibur is going to add something from our graveyard to our hand, so we're going to put Mantis in our hand for next turn. Now, we're just going to send the Dragonfly, the Centipede, and the Picofalina for Giant Bee Trooper Invincible Atlas. Now we're going to normal summon the Ladybug, because guess what? We have not actually normal summoned this turn. We are going to use Invincible Atlas's effect, tribute that Ladybug, and that's going to special summon Scale Bomber from our deck. Now you might be a little bit confused. Why didn't we summon Sting Lancer? Well, if you remember at the very beginning of the combo, we discarded the Fly and Sting. So Sting Lancer doesn't have anything to search. It's a lot more impactful to summon Scale Bomber from this position because this is another disruption. So that's pretty much the entire combo, because now we're going to go to the end phase. We are going to declare the effect of Fly and Sting, banishing that extra ladybug to set itself to our field. And this is now the end of our combo. You can see that we have an Omni Negate on Griffin Rider. We have an Omni Negate on Arclight, while also having a Pseudo Floodgate. We have a Monster Negate at Spell Speed 3 with Fly and Sting, and we also have a kind of pseudo Ghost Ogre for monster effects if we really need it. And we are also completely set up for next turn. We've got a Dragonfly, we've got a Mantis, we've even got a Ko-Oh in case they somehow manage to clear this and have further disruption that would make us have a hard time. But the other really important thing is, if you notice, there's only one centipede in the graveyard. We still have 2 centipedes in deck. That's enough to basically do another full combo. And that's what I really like about this. We even have Armorhorn in the graveyard in case we need that emergency extra normal summon. This line, while it does end on slightly fewer interactions, ends on interactions that should be enough to at the very least make their turn significantly harder. It's very difficult to out Invincible Atlas without Dark Ruler, and it's very difficult to clear any of this outside of specifically like multiple forced negations into Raigeki, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So this should be enough to at least get you to next turn. This is obviously not enough on field to win next turn, but you now have the resources in your hand to win next turn. And that is really, really powerful. So this was just something I've been thinking about for a while. Going through the adventure engine, you don't necessarily need to use these 2 monsters, the token and the monster, as material once you reach a certain point. You can just leave them on the field and still make a respectable board. It's not the best board, but it's something that should be enough to get you to next turn where you can close out the game. So this is another reason why the Adventure Engine has some really neat synergies with this deck. Dracoback has very, very powerful interactions when you open with either Hornet or Oliver, or I guess also Durandal by extension, because that's just more free summons. It allows you to just plan your stuff out very well, and I just wanted to illustrate this, that the combo lines in this deck are extremely flexible. Some of the stuff I've been showing is not the end-all be-all by any means. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed, leave a like, comment, whatever you want to do, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed.